welcome back. And this is the segment that we are going to talk about now. Of course, the whole of Egypt is going to commemorate a very important event that is marked on our calendars, which is the celebrating the Egyptian Media Day that coincides with also the establishment of the radio service. And on the 31st of May, we're going to commemorate the celebrate the Egyptian Media Day and commemorate also the establishment of the radio service that started off via wireless waves, and that was on 31st of May of the year 1934, and it was such a very important day in the lives of all media people, because ever since that day things have been developing so fast with the people who have made a lot of progress in that particular medium, and we have many lead media people in Egypt that have led all this particular field throughout the Arab region. And we're very delighted to have with us today on this event Dr. Ibrahim Kerdany. Of course, he's a media person, a lead news anchor, as we all know, and a role model to all of us, and he is spokesperson for WHO. Hello, Dr. Kerdany.
Hello, how are you?
It's a great pleasure to have you with us, and definitely you have been part of, you're going to be part of this celebration. You have been part of the Egyptian radio and television for a long while, and in very special moments. And I guess there is a lot of things that have changed across those years. Sure. The amount of content, the amount of channels that came up, and the way the media is handling issues now is also different. So how far is that?
Very true, Sharif. As soon as Dina said, you know, Media Day, so many memories came gushing back. I remember the celebrations for Media Day all through the years. And every year we would have something added on, new programs, new satellite channels. I witnessed all this changed when we had just 1, 2, and 3. Then we had 4 and 5. And then suddenly we had all these specialized channels. So many things happened there. And the radio, of course, has made a comeback. I'm sure you're all aware now. We have a comeback on radio because of the crowds. Everybody is in the car, cooped up in their car, and you turn on the radio. So radio has made a real comeback from the days of 1934 when she said, Huna al-Qahira. That was something I didn't witness, of course, but I heard. And yeah, Egypt is going through a lot of changes.
Yes. And when you're saying you're certainly correct about, you know, the radio and the comeback, but radio is that type of technology that never died. And the comeback, when you mean the comeback, you mean the Egyptian radio's comeback, how they're presenting the topics and how they're gaining, you know, the audience.
Plus, of course, I think the audience, now there are new channels even on the radio that are private, that are coming in. But I personally love Al-Aghani, this old songs that are continuously pouring, reminding us of the beautiful days of Kulthum, Abdul Halim, Abdul Wahab, Farid al-Atrash, all our icons. Of course, whenever I'm on the radio listening, it's beautiful. And Dina was with us on the European program when we used to do some programs as well, and it was so nice, the breakfast show in the morning when you would do that. And I came back and we had your show with Matt Tawfi on the radio, and for me, when suddenly in the middle of this heat, in the middle of the crowd, someone calls you up now with the new technology and the mobile phones and all that, hey Doc, you're on the radio, it's so nice to hear you, and the topics we cover, it's a different world, it's more vibrant, it's more alive, it's beautiful in some ways, and much more difficult in other ways.
Yes. Like, let me take it from Sharif to you, Dr. Kerdany. When I look up at someone like you people are icons. You know, I was in the European service and I was reading the news, and I used to be working with people that really produce quality, not just any media. You said there was not that much type of technology, but there was quality. So if you could tell us, how do you compare between the type of media that is running now, the mainstream media now, and the type of media that was given by icons that we all know?
I think one very important thing, Dina, is the political will that Egypt was the leader in the Arab world of all media aspects, whether it was cinema ever since the silent cinema, actually. I mean, that was ever since that time. And then our golden 60s, the 70s, the 80s, all this time we saw changes in the cinema, but we were still always the leaders. And even on media, I mean, I travel a lot with my work with WHO and UNICEF. I've traveled a great deal in all the Arab world. And you know, Sharif, whenever I get into one of the TV stations there, out pops a lovely person from our Egyptian television. He says, I'm from Maspero. Immediate hugs. You know, you're immediately there. You have people all over the world who are out of this building, Maspero, which was an institution in itself. Yes. True, we are suffering, but like you said, we had very little and produced so much. I'm sure the audience remembers, everybody has a particular program close to their heart.
Yes.
And it's so beautiful to remember these, the icons, as you say. We've all had our icons, we looked up to them, and I think it was love. I think political will,
yes,
supporting the programs, supporting Maspero, but the love inside. You did everything with love, in the most difficult conditions, hardships, like you're working in now with the sun up there and the heat and what we're suffering, and yet, because you love it, you'll do it with love, and that's the difference.
It's very true. And I'd like to ask you about, you know, this transformation phase, and like you mentioned, the political will. We need to launch the satellite. Nilesat becomes, you know, the first Arab sat, and things started rolling from there. But today, when we're speaking about the being pioneers back then, but today things have changed. You know, the game has changed.
The game has changed is a very good expression you use.
And we are actually, we have not coped up yet with the changes.
I think money talks. It's become, I regret to say, but the financial part plays the most important part now.
It's more commercial.
How much will I make? How much is that station making? It's all a question of marketing. Like if somebody tells me now, you know, come back, I say, what? How? It's not how good you are. It's how good the marketing company is. How will you be marketed? Will you be on banners all over Cairo? Will there be spots prior to your program? All those private channels use all the tricks, and some of these tricks are very simple. I mean, if you have a good guest coming on your show, if all day they would be spotting, you know, the guest will be there at so-and-so, your viewership will go up like this. It's a very simple thing, it's not costly. But we don't do it in Maspero. We don't anymore.
But do you think that we used to have this rates thing? I mean, rating a program and all this, and the viewership and everything. But do you think that the contemporary media, and especially the media outlets, I mean the private channels, the content is losing its objectiveness to subjectiveness more, and it's being directed media? I mean, what are the problems of the current media outlets now?
I'll be very frank with you, Dina. I think it's very directed. I came back from the States 2 months ago, and I also found something that really surprised me. I found the media in the United States is just as directed as we are. I mean, it surprised me. I didn't think it was...
Privately owned.
It's privately owned.
By companies.
Just as directed. They show you just what they want to show you. They're very biased in their views in many aspects. We've all seen this CNN coverage of our plane and how that hurt us. And I think nowadays, personally, I wouldn't want to be on any of our new channels because you are channeled to speak in a certain way. I mean, you have to please the supervisors. Your ratings have to go up. It's a constant nerve-wracking job, pressure. We've had we are also, when we want to produce something good, it's nerve-wracking. I mean, all media is. But it's become very different. It's become very different. I mean, I remember when I used to do the English programs for the Sanawiyya Amma students. I was a doctor, I was working all week, and my weekend I would spend studying Sanawiyya Amma syllabus to be able to appear on television and give it to the students.
Yes.
It was a bit nerve-wracking, but I loved it. And as soon as you appear on television with a smile on your face, they say, my God, that guy doesn't have a worry in the world. But you do. It's how you project, how you want to please the public, how you want them to be happy. Every one of us has problems that are endless in our own private world. Why do you dwell on that? Even the Ramadan TV series previews that I've been watching. I'm amazed at how
Very much commercial?
Negative.
not only commercial, there's nothing happy about them. Everybody
negative,
is in
Negative
horrible
vibes.
situation. Why? We have some nice things in our life too, believe me. I mean, I work around, I'm sorry I'm talking so much, I should,
No,
that should be,
that's
that's
please.
really fine. We're enjoying that.
No, I mean, I've been working with a lot of NGOs now. And when you work with the NGOs who are doing work for work, and there are some good NGOs, let me tell you, I know there are some with all the big banter there is about NGOs, but there are some that are really working well. And they go and help people who are in need. I mean, I was just in Aswan, in one of the satellite villages. We had a lot of young doctors with me, and I went and I put on my white coat again, and we went and checked all those poor people who did not have access to medicine. It was such a beautiful thing. The smiles on their faces when they were coming in, and suddenly they recognize your face and they say, yeah, this guy is seeing us, you know, and it was so nice to be giving, to see a smile on their face. They have nothing, and yet they're pure, they're loving. Why don't we show these things that are positive, that are happening? There are a lot of good things happening. Not only when you go and see one of the new streets that are being built, and whoa, overnight the bridges are there and they're trying. On the other hand, there are many things that would require very, very little, and we would overcome them. We all know where the places on our streets that are so overcrowded. And you know that that's a weak point. Send 2 or 3 police officers regularly. Get rid of the peddlers who are there cramming the streets and making them so overcrowded. It's such a simple thing. It just
Or
needs
effect the laws. Just effect them. Enforce the law.
enforce the law, sustainability, and sustain it. Because once they do it once, they go out, they come back, and then you have the same problem over again. It's behavior, you know, Sharif, you know, Dina, it's behavior. And we need to have programs that give people the positive and the negative. And let them, together with us, change the negative. I think it's possible. I believe it's possible. I may be an optimist, but I somehow always say, when there's the glass half full, it depends how you will look at it.
Okay. Then the moment I saw you today, I felt positivity
Allah.
from the very beginning. And when I was thinking in my mind, Dr. Ibrahim, the best thing that he would be doing if it was a show, it would be something about positivity and changing, things in the community, in the culture, and socially. It's a pity that having your skills, and you have it all. You have the voice, you have the body language, and yet you're far away from media, and you're enjoying air. You're on air. You're very relaxed. You're probably enjoying that.
I am. I have to admit, being with you guys is fun.
Thank you very much.
Same here.
So why aren't you thinking about a comeback or a return with
One thing, I think I've grown a bit old, and the camera can't hide what time does. Number 2, I think I've never been approached.
Yes.
Before, when I did things, I was approached by every single channel. I was doing work for love, and it was channel 1, channel 2, channel 3, channel 5. They used to say, we open the tap and Ibrahim Kerdany goes down. But suddenly it's God's will. I always believe that. God wanted you to be in the public eye, and now it seems...
How long have you been far from doing shows?
It's been a good 10 years.
10 years, and you're on air. I can't really
It's
believe
almost like
that
yesterday that we have seen you, even as Egyptians and viewers. But let me ask you another question. I mean, assessing the situation inside Maspero building, do you see that they have come a long way? I mean, since you're one of the lead news anchors in the radio. You are a radio person. Yes. How do you see the radio now?
The radio is going well. I mean, the radio, when I go to visit Mata of your Basma Habib in the European program,
amazing
I
people.
feel it's just the same. The beauty, the smell, everything.
The system.
No, the radio is okay. Radio, even the Arabic station and Arabic stations and ours, they're still okay. Maybe because they didn't enter this challenge of the commercial challenge. This horrible money. Maybe that's one of the reasons. But TV, on the other hand, no, there's a lot. I dream for Maspero, and I was just part of this Ana Maspero in Tamin initiative that took place last week. Hatem Haidar and Naglab Ayoumi and all these people, they made young people, and suddenly I was invited, and part of this beautiful initiative, we were remembering the golden days of Maspero. And it was trying to respond to all the accusations that say, you know, you're gone, you're nothing anymore. And they were saying, we're here, and we're willing to work. I, in my little speech, said if the political will is there to give Maspero the necessary push to stand on its feet again, it is doable. It is doable. Only if the top political will sees that as a priority. Because Maspero, in my opinion, needs to be reshuffled. It may hurt a lot of people, but I think you need one Arabic channel and one English channel fully supported to be really strong. Our voice needs to be heard in the Western world. It grieves me when I travel a lot and I find Al Jazeera English is what the Americans like to follow when they want to know what's happening in our part of the world. It should have been Nile TV. It should have been Egyptian television. I mean, we were the pioneers, as you said, Sharif. And why did we let that happen? Why did we let that happen? If you have just one channel, really well-picked programs, and look at it that we are trying to show the moderation. True, we will always have incidents that will affect this. We are being targeted whether we like it or not. I feel that. Egypt is being targeted. It's no joke. From inside and from outside. And we just need to... At Syria, at Sudan, the division, at all the countries that are neighbor, Iraq, Yemen. And we have to try and solidify ourselves. We have to hold hands. We have to be one Egyptian, regardless of Christian or Muslim. We are Egyptian. And underline that. I would love to see our ID cards without the religion written on it, frankly. And just say you're Egyptian. This way, we would ameliorate a lot of the stuff that people are trying to fuel. And we would become one nation, raising our heads up high, saying we're Egyptians. People come from all over the world to see our pharaohs, our origins, and we are there. Egypt is a very special country. Wallahi, I mean it from my heart. I've traveled a lot, and despite all the things that may be sometimes happening nowadays, the kindest people in the world are still the Egyptians.
Yes, very, very emotional. And I'd like to ask you about, you mentioned the Ana Maspero initiative. If you can shed some light on that, and how was, you know, that celebration, speaking about this
Actually, it was a celebration done again by the Nile, like here in the pharaonic village, and it was pretty nice, the location. We got on a boat and traveled there. I was with Hal Abu Alam, and I said, where are we going? Where are we being taken? And then we